I'm Breakdown.
Okay, people, this is a mutiny.
Okay, to transform Breakdown into his alt mode, first, let's straighten out his arms and legs so that we get him all set up and ready to be transformed. After we got that done, then we want to come and untap and remove his handgun. And then we'll start with the arms. So coming up here to this arm, come down to the hand, and then you want to rotate the hand out so the palm is facing up or supinated. And then you want to come up to the bicep, rotate it around 180. And on the outer part, you'll see there's a little groove spot that you can put your nail in to open that panel up. And then you want to rotate the hand in. And as you can see, that finger is getting caught right here, so you don't really have clearance. Just make sure you push it through all the way. Once you do, then you can close that up. And then do the same on this side. So the same thing on this side. Come to the hand. You want to rotate it and bring down the fingers. And rotate the thumb down so the palm is facing up. And then you want to come to the bicep, rotate it around 180. And then come to the bottom of the forearm, that little groove spot, so you can open up that panel, lift up and fold in the hand. And then close that forearm piece up. And then you want to come up a little bit so we can get a better view. And you want to rotate his whole arm back so that we have the clearance now to rotate this tire fender piece over. And you need to make sure you rotate it this way. It only rotates one way. It doesn't rotate out. So you want to rotate it in towards the back, out 180. Once you do, then you bring it down and you can see it's covering that wheel. So come to the other side, do the same thing, rotate the arm back. And then you want to rotate this blue fender tire piece up and over and then down. Once we got that, then on the double hinge on the arms, you want to use that to fold that up. And you can see there's like a little nub for these two pieces to lock into place together, like so. And then come over to the other side, do the same thing on that double hinge, flip this up and over, get that lined up. And then once you got that done, then we can bring down these arms on both sides. And then on the back, there's a tab that goes in here from the back to the front. So basically, you just pull back to untab it, open it up all the way so that now you can bring down his chest piece. And once you do, push his head back and in, like so. And then over here, this back piece, lift it up, and underneath you'll see the front window. You want to bring out that front window piece, and you can see there's a bunch of panel double hinges here. Get that all straight, nice and flush. And then coming back to the bottom, you could the sides of his chest here, these blue pieces, you want to fold them in, starting off first with these two small pieces down here, and then these two large blue pieces. It doesn't work the other way around. It's this order, this first, and then these second. After we got that done, then we can come back to the front and lift up his chest, and then bring back down the back piece. And this part's going to be a little tricky, but you can see the front of these chests, they're supposed to fold in. And you need to make sure you have the clearance because it's catching on the black shoulder joint. So you need to have this down at the right angle where this is going to be able to go in. So you just need to make sure you get the right angle for that to go in. And once you do, now you can see that the sides of his chest is folded in. After we got that done, now we can fold in his arms on the black shoulder joint, which is on a double hinge. So it's going to go, here's a hinge here. So you want to rotate it in. And there are three tabs. The tab here that goes behind the rear lights, and then the tab here that goes into the side, and then the tab here that goes into the front. So once you get that double hinge in, lined up, you want to start with this piece first. So you need to get this tabbed in behind the rear window light. And then the tab here, you want to push that in. And then the last one is right here, get this tabbed in. Once you get all of that tabbed in, give it a good push so it's all nice and flush. And then do the same on this side. So same thing on that black double hinge, you want to rotate this down and in, and then get this piece to go behind the rear lights as you're bringing that double hinge in. And then once you got that in, then you can see we need to tab in this side, and then we need to tab in this front, like so. And then make sure everything's all tabbed in, nice and flush. So give it a good squeeze. And then back here, there's just this little piece that you bring down. And this piece needs to be all nice and flush, like so. And then I'm going to point something out. So here you can see that the rear part of the car is done, and it does lift up on the hinge in here. And this is the ab crunch. It's basically like these two clips here. And that straightens it out in the alt mode. But for some clearance here for the window, I'm engaging that ab crunch to open this up a little bit more. So now you can see there's a lot of room here, so you don't have to mess with this window. Okay, so once we got that done, now we want to come here to the hips, and here's the front. So first lift up these front hip skirts and also this center hip skirt. And you can see it tabs in. Come to the back and lift up his butt skirts, like so. After we did that, then you can see his crotch now needs to be rotated around 180. So rotate it around 180. Don't rotate the hip around 180. You rotate this crotch around 180. After you do, then you can bring down these hip skirts and the center one, tab that in. And back here, also bring down the butt skirts right here. And then these two screws you see here, you need to bring these down. And then you can see that little like claw. You want to then rotate it in like so. And then you need to do the same on the other side. So bring this down and get that pointy claw pointing in. So you need to rotate this in. And the reason why you're doing that is so that now you can see when the tire does come down, it has that clearance right here. So just explaining what that's for. And then once we got all that done, now we can come to the legs. So the legs, first you want to bring down the front of his lower leg or his shin. So it tabs, so bend his knee to have some room to untab this. Once you do, then you can see that this cover piece here needs to be flipped over to the other side, and then you lift it up like so. And then, well, let's just go ahead and do the same on the other side. So bend his knee so we have room here to untab that to bring down his shin. And then you can see we need to now flip this over to the other side. Okay, after we got that done, now we need to bring this front part of the car or his lower leg out. And just letting you know, it does tab in here. And there is the hinge here. So the tolerance might be tight, but that's why I'm telling you, there's a tab. You can see it goes in. And it rotates on this hinge here. So once you untab it, then you want to rotate this around and out like so. And then you want to rotate it a little bit more so you have this room and clearance then to push the tire through and over out. So now you can see the tires on the outside. It's on a double hinge. And once we got that done, then you can lift up this door. My door is actually kind of loose. That pin's not holding in place very well, but you want to hold that up so that you can straighten out his feet. Let's look at it, see it on this side, and it's on a double hinge. And you want to keep this door up. And on that double hinge, you want to then fold up the foot, and you need to position it in the right place. You can see the foot's angled, and then that white piece is angled. That's fitting the contour shape of the window. So make sure you have that folded up like so, and it should be flat on the bottom. And then once we got that, then there's the little panel piece here you want to bring out for the car. So bring out one, and then here you want to push this one in, like so. And then we'll just do the same on this side. So again, there's a little tab here and the hinge. So you want to untab it so you can bring out the side of the car. And then bring it out a little bit more so we have the clearance to rotate the tire to the front on that double hinge. And once we got that done, put it back. And then lift up the door window. And this side, the pin is holding up. So that now we can take his foot and rotate it down. And on that double hinge, you want to rotate it up all the way so it's forming that angle that follows that contour of the window. And then there's that panel piece you want to bring down and out. And then this one, the inner part of his leg, you want to fold up that panel. So one's out, one's in. And then once we got that done, then you have to explain things. So you see this piece here? It has like this boxy thing. It kind of catches this bar. So that's kind of hard to get this in. Like so. So what I do is I just kind of hyperextend his leg a little bit just to get this piece in. And now you can see that box piece is in that crescent shape. And you want to make sure it stays in that position. So it's like this because it easily comes untapped. And just to show you, let's do it again on the other side. So let's hyperextend his leg so that we have the room to get this piece, fold this down and in and then out so that that boxy piece now is going to fit into this contour, this crescent shape here. And then we got this set up to be now rotated 180. And this part is also, I should have explained it here, but the knee joint, you see that blue knee joint? As you're rotating, it's moving. So you want to keep this, prevent that from moving, so you kind of have to trying to find a way to show you. Just kind of have to lock it in place as you're rotating this. Oh, I forgot a major thing. So before you start rotating, obviously you want to get these red pieces out of the way so you have that clearance now to rotate it. And then now we can start to rotate this leg in. And like I said, that knee joint, it's not supposed to be like that. You need to kind of keep it nice and flat as you're rotating this piece. So this is probably the most challenging part of this transformation, because you're trying to manipulate one piece to move but trying to prevent the other from moving. So let's hold that piece and continue that rotation till we get it all the way through 180, and then it will tab in place. Once we get it all the way through, you'll see nice and flush, and then you tab that front piece in, and then we can fold in this side front of the front part of the car, and then the two lights are going to line up and tab in. And then you can bring this red part of the hood front over like so. And then you want to do the same on this side. So now this is rotating it down 180, but the challenging part is to keep this knee from moving. So you see it's already opening up. You want to kind of lock it in place while rotating this around. And once we got that done, then we can now rotate the front side over and on top, and then the two lights are going to line up, tab those in, and then these two bottom pieces, the top and the bottom, you want to give that a good squeeze. And then the front red part of the hood, just line that up, put that in, and then now we can bring together the two front part of the vehicle together, get those tabs lined up together, give it a good squeeze for left and right side, give it a good squeeze here, the top and bottom, keep these windows open, windows open, and then now you can see this piece is going to come up and over, and there's the tabs that go into the slots in there. So you need to make sure that gets lined up on both sides, and this is why you need to focus on both sides, because sometimes that might go in. So make sure that they both stay open. Carefully get that lined up and in, and then you need to get this front window piece in between the two doors. And then once we got them all like lined up, then you could start tabbing it in. So you have to just look underneath, get those tabs lined up, tab it in, give that a good squeeze. And I want to open up this door because I want to do that last. And then do the same on this side. Get that lined up, tab it in, give it a good squeeze. And then this front window piece, you could see that just simply push down to tab it in. And then the last thing, we just, you could see these go in, is a tab here. Just slide that in, close the door. And then now we have breakdown in his alt mode.
I'm breakdown. Okay, people, this is a mutiny.